Good evening. Could you please raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as a member of the Board of Education to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
it goes.
That one's working. I was offering it up.
And that's just in time, so thank you, Mr. Ross. And thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for your patience as we begin officially at 7 p.m. for our regular scheduled business meeting of the Board of Education this Monday, November 8th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Given that we are just following the elections, I am starting tonight's meeting. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could all rise. And Mr. White, you want to get us started?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Ross to play a performance of the National Anthem that was recorded this year up in our music suite. I just want to commend our students and Mr. Helming on a beautiful performance of the National Anthem that we'd like to play at this time as one of our student highlights. Thank you. I couldn't be more impressed with our students' talent, and tonight you'll see a variety of talent that we've asked to come in and join our meeting. This is a special and unique meeting, and we do have an election of a board chair and a vice chair and taking place tonight. I would ask the board, just for the sake of so many people waiting and our children waiting outside, if we could possibly just move number 3 to number 2 and then do the election following the special presentation, unless there's any objection to that. Okay, that'd be great. Thank you so much. So at this time, since I'm still running the meeting, I'll call myself up to the podium to start the special presentations. Okay, tonight we are going to begin with, actually I think I should let them in first. I can't believe they're so quiet. They may have gone to we have a volleyball tournament game happening tonight. We have lots of rec activities. If you had trouble finding a parking spot, you're not alone. But it's great to have all the activity in the buildings. Let me invite in Rachel Valentine's kindergartners who are going to do a performance for you tonight. And I want them to be here while I say their names so they feel pretty awesome. That's okay. All right, so I hope I get all the names right. I want to thank Mrs. Valentine for all the hard work she's doing over at Tofflawn School. And of course, Mrs. Principal Adorado, who's here tonight as well, and all of our wonderful parents who are so supportive of our schools and of our amazing children in town. I want to welcome Lincoln Carafano, Austin Carrier, Elena Dahlgren, Kiri Eatman, Mia Jaglal, Lucy Maynard, David Matola, Lucas Neves, Christopher Strenk, and Savannah Rayo. I hope I have everyone. Did I remember everybody? Did I do a pretty good job? Okay, they're going to be performing the 5 Little Pumpkins. And this ties into a STEM and arts. I don't know if you'd like to share anything about the unit, but Mrs. Valentine?
Hello. We are so excited to come and share what we've been learning in preschool. The last 2 weeks have been spent learning about pumpkins. Thanks to donations from DATCO and Big Y, we were able to create a pumpkin patch at Tofflawn, and each child had the opportunity to visit the patch and pick a pumpkin. We learned all about the parts of a pumpkin. We cut open a pumpkin and pulled out the seeds and pulp. The children described how it felt, and then we roasted the pumpkin seeds and we tasted them. Some of us liked the pumpkin seeds, some of us didn't. Give me a thumbs up if you liked those pumpkin seeds, and a thumbs down if you didn't. Yeah. Good job. We listened to many pumpkin stories and then acted them out. We used pumpkins to measure how tall we were. We made predictions about whether a pumpkin would float or sink. What did we find out? Does a pumpkin float or sink? It floats, right. Our favorite STEM activity included using blocks and popsicle sticks to build our own gates that would support 5 little pumpkins. And our favorite poem was 5 Little Pumpkins that we'd like to perform for you. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Get your 5 little pumpkins on the gate. Here we go. Nice and loud. 5 little pumpkins sitting on the gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There are witches in the air." The third one said, "But we don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run, run, run." The fifth one said, "I'm ready for some fun."
Kids, that was awesome. Thank you so much. What do you think? They did a pretty good job? They did a great job. So keep working hard and learning a lot of great things and getting really smart. And pretty soon you'll be taking over my job. Thank you so much. Families of our wonderful pre-K, feel free to head home. You don't have to stay for the whole meeting. I know it's past bedtime already. Thank you. That was fun. All right. Next we have a presentation from Linden Street School, and Mr. Walowitz asked if he could share some amazing cardboard creations that were created as part of the Cardboard Challenge over at Linden Street School. And they did this at each school. So I'd like to introduce, we have Stephen and Seth DeLesio, if you guys could come up. And we have Jake and Lizzie Procco. And they created some cardboard creations. And I think Mr. Walowitz would like to say a few things about these cardboard creations to share with the audience.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to our new board members. On November 3rd, all Linden Street School students had the opportunity to participate in our Day of Play. for the Cardboard Challenge. The Cardboard Challenge started in 2012 and is an event inspired by a video, Kane's Arcade, about a 9-year-old boy in Los Angeles who created a working arcade out of cardboard and recycled materials. The Cardboard Challenge invites children across the world to be like Kane and use their imagination and the power of creative play to create something of their own out of cardboard and recycled materials to share with others. The Cardboard Challenge gives kids an opportunity to explore their imagination and unleash their natural creative talents. As they design and build, they engage in the simple learning process called creative play. It teaches valuable 21st century skills like critical thinking, resourcefulness, perseverance, and collaboration. It allows kids to build upon STEAM concepts, and it also brings communities together to foster and celebrate child creativity. Plus, it's really fun. I'd like to thank our library media teacher, Mrs. Hartung, and our physical education teacher, Mr. Smith, for supporting our students throughout this process. So tonight we have some students. We have Seth and Stephen D'Alessio, and Jake and Lizzie Procco. So will you tell everyone about your project?
We made a cardboard castle with a moat and one tall tower and 4 small towers with a drawbridge that comes down when you twist the crank.
Want to say anything about the project, Tom? No? Okay. So what was the best part of making your project?
I really liked the hot glue gun and making the drawbridge that came down with the yarn.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. You want to talk about your project?
Oh, my name's Steven. You might remember me from Linden Street School. I'm one of the students here. If you're a Linden Street School teacher and you're here, raise your hand.
Let's talk about your project.
Oh, this is my project. It's a spaceship. Here's the opening cockpit. On the back, we also have this. It's the door that the people get on when they get onto a planet. And this is called the I-77 Dragon Lantern. That's the name of my spaceship. You see the perfect, cool paint job I gave it? Now we have Sethi's banged up, rusty old car.
Let's talk about it. Thank you, Stephen. You want to talk about your project?
This old car has drawn marker and backlights. It is a little busted because this was ripped and it has a flimsy door. And you can get inside this and sit. Seat.
All right. Thank you very much.
Can I try sitting in your car? I don't think that would end too well, but well, I want to congratulate our wonderful students, and I know there are other projects as well. These are fine examples of the creativity and collaboration and all those wonderful skills we celebrate in our Portrait of the Graduate, and it happens all the way down in our elementary school. So great job to all of our cardboard crafters, constructors. What was it? Cardboard Challenge. Well done. Okay, at this time. And you're free to go home and get some shut-eye if you like as well. Don't feel the obligation to stay, but we have a couple more special presentations tonight. Next, I'd like to honor Tom Abusowitz. I hope I said that right, Tommy. I didn't recognize you. You're all shined up in a beautiful suit. Tommy is a breath of fresh air every single day he walks into our office. He's such a positive. That's you. Oh, now I know you. Very inspiring gentleman. No matter how things are going, no matter what challenges he may be facing, personally, and all the challenges we've had to deal with, and whatever it is, anything that comes his way, health issues, you name it. Tom is just he comes in, usually a lighthearted, some kind of a wit or joke or something. He's very good about payday. He gives us 3 days notice when payday's coming up. It's payday, double eve, or whatever. I don't have it right, but just Tom. So for those of you that don't know Tom, he picks up all of the mail at every school and delivers it to central office and to the other schools. So he's a mail courier, and he makes two trips Is it every day, Tom, that I see you? Once a day. Well, it feels like 2. Yeah, we're hiding from my office, out in the schools where all the fun is. So in addition to that, you know, in the past when I was living in this school, you know, we hosted senior citizen proms through the Interact Club that I happen to be a co-advisor of. And we had about 100 senior citizens in here dancing and having dinner and really nice time. And whenever I asked Tom in the senior 8th notes, right? Is that what? Yeah. Yeah. And just they would set up in the corner, and they even let me play a song. I play the saxophone, not nearly probably half or less as well as Tom, but I try. So I would sit in for a song. But Tom and the band would entertain our guests throughout the evening, and they were always the hit of the event. So, you know, always going above and beyond, performing that McDonald's or wherever else he has the opportunity to perform with the band. And, you know, Senior Center in Bristol, so if you want to catch a performance that you won't forget, they're amazing. But I guess to summarize, you know, Tom's been the mail courier here after retiring from another job. He's been doing this for 19 years and 2 months is what, you know, he was hired on September 9th, 2002. So we've enjoyed every day. So we appreciate everything you've done, and thank you for all your service and commitment to the town of Plainville and to our schools. Thank you, Tom.
The only complaint I have in 19 years is we have a high-tech group of people here. Why does my picture look like Uncle Festus?
Blame those guys back there. I think we're going to get your picture, if you don't mind. Here's a little something for you.
Thank you.
And then this, if you don't mind, come on over here.
Thank you.
And finally, to conclude the special presentation, well, actually, that's not true. There are 2 more. The Portrait Pioneer Award this month. We're very excited to honor Carl Hawkins. And Carl is a Tophlon tutor. And Carl, where's Carl? Oh, there you are. Come on up, Carl. So I'll just read what was shared about Carl by his nominees, or nominators, I should say. So Caitlin Butkus and Shar Ramos, they're both right there. You're welcome. You'll come up after for the picture. But so they submitted a Portrait Pioneer recognition for Carl. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Portrait Pioneer, those are the qualities we really want to embody in our students during their time in Plainville Community Schools, being communicative, collaborative, resilient, mindful, and innovative. Sorry, sometimes if I say them out of order, I forget one. And it's right in the paper in front of me. But I do want to congratulate Carl. So what they said, Carl Hawkins is an RBT, Registered Behavior Technician at Tophlon School. Carl's a very hardworking, patient, and kind individual. He is friendly to everyone he encounters. Some days, Carl faces more challenges than others, but he handles every day and situation with grace. Carl always makes himself available to help others, no matter what the situation. He is ready to jump in and assist. Carl is an absolute asset to the Tophlon community, and we are lucky to have him as part of our team. And that's from Shar Ramos and Caitlin Butkus, the 2 office professionals at Tophlon. So it's very nice that you would take the time to recognize one of our registered behavior technicians. I'm sure he would probably say the same thing about both of you, and I know you've received this before too. But I do want to thank you, Carl, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is this a certificate here? Okay. I'll get you your certificate. My apologies. And then finally, actually, why don't, Carl, if you don't mind, while you're up, and the 2 nominators, if Caitlin and Shara, if you'd come up and get a photo, is that okay? And I just heard that you're going to be a dad pretty soon as well, so congratulations to you both. Okay, and finally, I would like to acknowledge our outgoing board members who served for many years, and I didn't write them down. It just seems like it's been Nicole Palmieri. How many years were you? 5? Okay, I was going to say 6, but 5? No, not at all. Not a day over 5. I'm just kidding. So Nicole has been a dedicated and committed Board of Education member, always asking thoughtful, insightful questions, and really wanted to make sense of everything that's been shared, budgets, presentations, and really taking an interest in it and getting involved, attending a lot of school events. So, Nicole, I'd like to thank you for your 5 years of service with the Board of Education. Come on up. We have a little something for you. Are you okay to? Okay. Kathy Wells was on the board for, is it 4 years, Kathy? 4 years for her term. Again, Kathy, extremely thoughtful, committed, kind, always listened to every detail about what we were sharing and what we were trying to do, and asked great questions, and really added an insightful and thoughtful perspective to every Board of Education decision. So we really valued Kathy, and we'll miss her on the board as well. So Kathy Wells, thank you. And Brent Davenport was not able to be here this evening, but of course he's been on the board a couple of different times, and again, just always sharing perspective and insight, and really trying to support the work that we're doing across the district as a father of 2 children in our schools, and extremely committed to everything we do as a school administration and a school district. So thanks to Brent Davenport. I know he's busy running a business, so he's not able to be here tonight, but we thank him. Okay, and you don't have to stay for the entire meeting. I know it's getting close to bedtime. Take care. Thank you so much. That concludes our special presentations. All right. Okay, at this time, as is customary in the Board of Education meeting following the most recent election, town election, I'm opening nominations for the chairperson of the Plainville Board of Education. So at this time, I'd like to open nominations. If anybody would like to nominate someone for the chairperson of the Board of Education.
I make a nomination to approve Rachel Buchanan, as board chair.
Okay,
I second the nomination.
Okay, so we have a nomination from Deb Hardy and a second from Mrs. Cassandra Clark for Rachel Buchanan as chair. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, at this time, we'll take
I'd
a,
like to nominate Lori Gonzalbo for Board of Education Chair.
okay, we have a nomination for Lori Gonzalbo for Board of Ed Chair as well. So at this time, are there any other nominations?
I'll second that nomination.
Do we have a second for Lori Gonzalvo? So we have a first and a second for both Ms. Buchanan and Ms. Gonzalvo. Any other nominations? Okay, at this time I will call for a vote. All in favor of Ms. Buchanan to serve as the Board of Education Chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, if I could see hands, I'm sorry. Hands too, because I'm my ear. I was trying to, I'm in the middle. So we have, okay, Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Peterson, Mrs. Hardy. And you would vote, you can vote for, so we have 4 votes for Mrs. Buchanan. And for, okay, so for Mrs. Gonzalvo, all in favor, and raise your hand. We have Ms. Gonzalvo, we have Mr. White, we have Mrs. Tyrell, we have Mrs. St. Lawrence, and we have Mrs. Martinez. So, based on the majority rules, congratulations, Ms. Gonzalvo, on your appointment as Board of Education Chair. And I get to hand over the gavel.
Thank you. I'd like to open the floor to vice chair nominations.
I'd like to nominate Deb Hardy for vice chair for the Board of Education.
I'd like to second that nomination.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Deb Hardy will be vice chair.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So at
Okay, we're
this
gonna go
time,
over
I
to
turn the
the-
meeting over, so the meeting is yours.
I'm sorry.
The meeting is yours, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We'll get started with the approval of minutes. A, request approval of minutes for the October 12th, October 18th, and the November 1st meeting. All in favor?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of A, B, and C, October 12th, October 18th, and November 1st.
I second the motion.
Now we have a time for citizens' comments.
We need to,
Anyone in the audience
We really
wish to
should,
speak?
vote on that motion, Madam Chair.
Hold on it.
So you have a first and a second, so
we have a first and a second.
any discussion, and then
Okay.
all in favor.
The first and the second of the approval minutes.
Yes, you had a first from
Foster.
Foster
Mrs.
and
Tyrell.
It was me.
Ms. Tyrell.
Second was
Becky
Foster.
made the motion, I seconded the motion to adopt and approve the minutes of October 12th, 18th, and November 1st.
Okay. And do we have any discussion on that?
Okay.
No discussion? Now we move on to the citizens' comments?
Now we
No, you
vote.
still have to vote.
Oh, do we still have to vote on that?
Yep,
Okay.
so all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Now we can move on to the citizens' comments. Anyone? Now is council liaison, but I'm sorry? Oh, go ahead. I didn't see her, I'm sorry. You wanted to talk? No? She looks cute. Okay. Any other citizens' comments? And now we have the council liaison, but I think she left. Anybody have any notes from her? Or anything to say?
She had her meeting to go to.
Okay. And now, Steve, it's back to you.
Thank you. So my report tonight will include a few topics. First topic is the COVID-19 update, just giving you some highlights. I know I send out quite a bit of information. In fact, just earlier tonight before coming here, I sent out a registration link for parents who are interested in vaccinating their 5 through 11-year-olds through Hartford Healthcare. They're hosting vaccination clinics across the state this Saturday. Registration is required in advance. We're continuing to do our best with managing this pandemic over the last, it feels like eternity, but over the last 20 months or so. Our cases are still continuing to appear, generally speaking, coming in from the homes and from community events and sports teams and things like that. We're still not seeing any significant school spread. Our staff is doing a great job with all the mitigation strategies and helping to keep everyone safe and coming to school. I would say that the greatest challenge has been the asymptomatic quarantine that's been required based on the state guidelines. So I know that's been a difficult thing for parents and for staff. We've made some accommodations. We've hired 2 teachers to teach all the remote lessons for the elementary school students who are quarantined, and our secondary kids are asked to live stream, to view the live stream lesson during those classes. But it is still a challenge for families, and we understand that. As part of a method of reducing the number of quarantines, due to the very low spread that's happened in schools, a low rate of spread, the state just recently passed a screen and stay program that school superintendents and districts are able to utilize as a new method of quarantining less students in the event that they're in close contact with someone who was positive. So if they are asymptomatic, whether vaccinated or not, they would not have to, in certain situations in a classroom setting with masks on, if more than 6 feet apart in, say, a cafeteria setting when or having a snack or other settings. So there are limitations to it. The guidance document's about 8 pages long, and I won't go through all the details, but what it does is open up opportunities for families to agree to screen their child in the morning before sending them to school, complete a very short survey. Our lead nurse, Julie Simard, completed it herself. It took her 11 seconds. We added a couple of questions that were required, so maybe 20 seconds. So it won't be anything extensive for families, just to make sure their child is feeling well, asymptomatic, and they can continue to come to school and follow all the same mitigation strategies in school. There are some limitations as to what they can do during, like, band and chorus and rigorous physical activity. So some modifications have to be made there based on the state guidance, just because of the extra air being expelled during those activities. So we're required to come up with alternative activities during the 14-day period once they're designated as a close contact. But it does allow kids to come to school instead of staying at home. So this is something that we've been working on. We have the form ready to go. Mr. Ross has been helping us with that. And as cases come up, we'll inform families of this option. We are still encouraging families to consult with their pediatrician and consider vaccination as a way to greatly reduce the chances of their child contracting COVID, and also the mitigations required of their children if they are close contact are different. So it's something that families should consider with their pediatrician's advice as a medical professional. And I guess, as far as COVID goes, we're still in the red zone in Plainville, so if you look at the map of COVID, we're in the center of the map, as you know, in Connecticut, and we're still red. All the surrounding towns are now yellow. There are a few outliers, and there's quite a bit of red in other parts of the state, but we're the last week's numbers were really low, fairly low, I should say, and so I'm hoping we drop out of the red area. That's why, it's one of the reasons we're all required to continue to wear masks in town buildings, municipal center, schools that's from the governor's executive order, so that's somewhat different than the red, but so there's a lot to consider. We have a great team led by Julie Smart, our school nurses, our administrators, and we're doing everything we can to keep our kids safe, keep them in school, keep them learning, keep them feeling supported, cared for, and getting them back to normal as soon as we possibly can. So every day is a challenge, and we always have a lot of surprises that pop up, but we take each one on as they come. Next, I know I share a lot in my newsletter, so I'm not going to belabor that, but I wanted to talk about Screen and Stay and also the upcoming vaccination clinic. So I wanted to share just really quickly, it's not on the agenda, but I was fortunate enough the plan was to visit the high school learning adventure days on Friday, which were piloted. It was presented to the board at the October meeting as a new possibility to be considered by the curriculum subcommittee of the board as more of a regular thing, but it was a pilot program on Friday. So I came thinking that I was going to go visit each of the 35 different events that were planned, but there was a teacher happened to be out sick, so they asked me if I would be willing to help with, I guess I'm kind of a jack of all trades, so they asked me if I'd be willing to help with camping and outdoor survival. I did have my suit on, but that's okay. We had a lot of fun. We had 28 students, Mr. Serwinski, a science teacher here, and myself. We took a little hike out back to the back at the mouth of the Quinnipiac River there, and I helped, Mr. Serwinski asked me if I wanted to do the starting a fire with flint part of the lesson, and gathering dry tinder and how to do all of that, or if I wanted to do the tent setup piece. Given that I had a suit on, I decided on the tent. There were two-man tents, and I never put one of these particular models together, so there was a learning curve. I'll be honest, I was sweating a little bit. I had about 15 or so students with me, just looking at me, and I'm taking it out of the bag and unfolding it, I hadn't read the directions, so. Fortunately, I was able to figure it out pretty quickly. I've done quite a bit of camping and adventure in my life, so I was able to guide them through setting up a two-man tent. Of course, they all enjoyed, getting in there and zipping up and just trying it out. They thought it was pretty cool. We set them up in probably 5 minutes, well, maybe 10 minutes. And then putting them back, folding them up is another skill that I have deficits in, but we managed to fold them back up and fit them back in the bag, which is amazing. So I felt like a great success. We did get a fire started with flint after, I think they tried for an hour, but perseverance, wins. So, of course, I was joking with Mr. Serwinski that he took out a Bic lighter and just started one, but he didn't. So, and it was nice because they brought s'mores, a key and crucial survival food. So they brought s'mores materials, and the kids made s'mores, and one of the students brought over a s'more for me, so I thought that was very kind, and I did eat it, even though I knew it was covered with bacteria and germs from everybody working outside with their hands. More than you needed to know. It was great, and I really appreciated that nice gesture. So that was my learning adventure that on Friday, but there were so many others. The list had 35. So everything from learning sign language to animal therapy, archery, bike riding, blues guitar. We're going to have one of our teachers wants to build blues guitars with kids. You can get the kit. Camping, survival, changing a tire. So if you get a flat tire, we did borrow one of the town garage Suburbans they drive around in. So we had an extra vehicle to do that. We made sure the tire went back on correctly. Construction, cursive writing, hip hop dancing, Spanish dancing, disc golf, preparing to get your driver's license, first aid, so fly fishing, geocache, so it goes on. There's 35 different activities, and as the board members who were here last week, or last month, I should say, saw, or heard, the goal and objective is to really help our students to get that learning experience outside of the classroom with something they may be passionate about, something they want to learn about and build on in their lifetime. So I think, as far as the first run of this goes, it was a big success. The high school administration will present to the curriculum subcommittee of the board, and so the board members will learn more about what the plan is for this. And I'm excited to share more with families, but I just want to thank my high school administrative team and all the staff, because these were mostly led by our staff who signed up to teach something they're passionate about outside of school. It also gave kids a chance to see their teachers in a different light. You see them, teaching in front of a class and teaching you chemistry or whatever, but then they take you on a bike ride or a hike, or teach you how to change. The math teacher taught them how to change a tire because he has mechanical experience. So, just seeing your teachers in a different way, and it builds respect, I think, for that they're human beings also, So I think it was a great success. So I just wanted to thank our team. There's lots more we could continue to spotlight and highlight, but I'll save all my newsletters, for my newsletters. You see my SMORE newsletters. I am happy to say we get over 1,000 people read or open it anyway, the newsletter. Maybe they close it as soon as they see it's from me, but it's the SMORE newsletter, and so hopefully you have a chance to read those. That concludes my part of this presentation for now. I'd like to ask our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, Tawana Graham Douglas, if you would please come up and share the experiences that our teachers and our staff went through on the Professional Learning Day that took place on Election Day. And Tawana will also share some of the plans for, although a somewhat modified Veterans Day, a very special and meaningful Veterans Day. So thank you, Ms. Graham Douglas.
Thank you so much, Mr. LePage. Thank you all for this opportunity, and welcome to our new board members. Please forgive me. I wrote some notes so that I wouldn't forget anything, so I'll try to stay stay focused. And Steve told me that I only have 3 minutes to kind of run through this really quickly, so maybe a little bit longer.
Because I talk so little,
But it's good, because I can be rather loquacious as well. So again, good evening, board members and members of the Plainville community. Thank you for this opportunity to share about our November professional learning experiences. Our professional learning goals, input and outputs align with our district's goals and actions of focusing on social emotional learning and working toward utilizing equitable practices and supporting students in achieving mastery. Here we would like to share our logic model for educator professional development. There are specific research-based features that are designed to increase educators' ability that lead to changes in classroom practices, which result in improved learning for students. When designing professional development, we seek to choose a content focus that fits the needs of students and staff, incorporate active learning, and provide time for educators to share their experiences of implementation and to collaborate and plan together. You may have heard that our PLCs is one of these places where this type of collaboration happens, as well as grade level and department meetings. We look for presenters to model effective practices and provide interaction by having educators doing, reflecting, asking questions, and also meet with colleagues to further discuss implications to their curriculum. We work to provide ongoing support during implementation to enable reflection on the impact on student learning, to ensure the strategies and skills that we are learning have the intended impact that we want. We also involve administrators, since training helps them to better understand what teachers are learning so that they can provide effective feedback and support. These specific characteristics are consistently used because they have a proven impact on educator efficacy, retention of highly qualified staff, and student learning outcomes. Our PD process begins by assessing the needs of educators. When asked about preferred modes of professional development, staff indicated that they really prefer learning through online courses, webinars, and videos. They also indicated that they like to attend off-site workshops and additional online seminars. The November PD plan was built upon these preferences in a combination of in-person and virtual options. At all levels, SEL-related PD was mentioned multiple times, with teachers sharing that they would like to know what to do to help their students manage anxiety and stress. All levels requested having some additional time to work with colleagues and explore new tools and how to use them in the most effective ways. One of those, and you'll notice it, just go back one step, yeah. So quite a few people, as you can see from the graph, selected that they would like professional development around supporting students who were at risk and what to do to support them. They also wanted to have conversations about how to support difficult conversations and professional development around performance matters, which is our data warehouse. And specifically, that professional development was about designing assessments, disseminating the assessments, and future PD will be around how to use the reports from those assessments through analysis and then instructional planning. Here is our professional development session board. The day began with a self-care session for educators. Educators have faced so many challenges and given so much of themselves, and we wanted to help our colleagues refill their buckets and apply their own oxygen masks. And I'm sure that you've heard that saying before. When we are stressed and overly tired, either emotionally or physically, it is challenging to do our jobs well. So that's why we focus on self-care. It is important that we can identify and regulate our moods and emotions and model good, balanced, and healthy boundaries for our students and for those around us. As a district, we are dedicated to supporting the well-being of our colleagues. Focusing on self-care can prevent burnout, enable more effective interactions with students, and can even create school and district climates more conducive to learning. One of our sessions during the day was with our partners at Cornerstone Counseling, which was led by Chris Albini. There is a Cornerstone counselor at each of our 5 schools here in Plainville, and they provide support to children and their families. This professional development gave us an opportunity to strengthen our partnership with Cornerstone Counseling. As you can see, in the afternoon, there were sessions that continued. Another quite popular professional learning opportunity was CPR and first aid training. We received quite a bit of feedback from participants that indicated this was something that they had always wanted to do and felt that it was something that would help them in their personal and professional lives. We also had a mindfulness and self-care session in the afternoon, led by Emily Rosen from CREC, who is certified in mindfulness training and self-care. And she was also one of the people that we went to ask about what is it that can be done for teachers to support themselves and for them to support students. And she had a list of strategies that people could use, and we shared them with all of the participants, and we received many emails back saying that they appreciate having that list of strategies. So this is just another list of the sessions that were available. Our professional certified staff had over 15 different district goals-aligned learning sessions, which reflect opportunities for professional growth and development. So after the professional development sessions, we survey the staff just to ask them about the effectiveness and the relevance of the professional learning sessions. As you can see here, for the morning sessions, about 83% of the respondents found that the sessions were helpful and applicable to their current roles. And here are the results for the PM, where about 62% noted the relevance and applicability. Bless you. So that ends the portion of the report about the Professional Development Day. I was also asked just to kind of give you a preview of what will be happening for Veterans Day. So as everyone knows, we will be in school on Thursday, November 11th. Veterans Day is a very special day in Plainville Community Schools. We have strong ties to those who serve and who have served in the military. All across the district, the day in school is used to honor those who have and are serving in our military, those who have fought for our freedom, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Each school has a plan for celebrating veterans. Each of the ceremonies includes gathering of the staff and dozens of active and reserved retirees. And actually, at the high school, they are bringing back the Veterans Day breakfast. You may have remembered that last year, almost every celebration was virtual, but we are so excited that the high school is going to have the breakfast, and that will be 8 a.m. this Thursday. At the middle school, at about 8:15 a.m., there will be a parade, and also they mentioned that the Plainville Fire Department is going to have the flag display again. You'll see that picture on the next slide. It's absolutely beautiful. And after the parade at the middle school, there will be a grab-and-go treats in the library. At the elementary schools, in addition to video tributes at Linden, they have a name tag tribute. And actually what happens is students are able to bring in name tags with family members and tell the story of their family members and share that with their classmates. They also have musical tributes. So last year, they learned Veterans Day songs in sign language and shared it with their class. This year, they're learning some additional songs, and there will be a video that can be played in each classroom. At Tafalon, they are going to feature virtual interviews, one of which is going to be with a 2-star general meeting with a 5th grade class. As I mentioned, videos honoring the veterans, and they're going to actually have virtual field trips to the Veteran and War Memorial in Washington, D.C. And over at Wheeler, there will be a video tribute to the veterans, and Mr. Batchelder mentioned that they raised over $800 for Veterans Rally Point organization, and they will officially make the donation that day. And there's just one more slide that has the flag display that I mentioned from the Plainville Fire Department, absolutely beautiful. And then they always have America's White Table. And at Tafalon, they have the Wall of Honor to honor the veterans. And in the past, we've had active military members join us. So I think I probably went over the 3 minutes, but are there any questions? Oh, do we have time? Is it okay? Okay, if we have time, that's fine. Student council from Wheeler.
They also help
As they mentioned, Veteran Rally Points help service members recovering from physical and psychological injuries. And as previously mentioned, they raised over $800 to donate to the organization.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tawana. I don't know if anyone has any questions of Tawana, and we'll do a report on the Veterans Day highlights in December, once those have passed, but thank you very much. And Tawana puts hours and hours and hours and hours of work into the Professional Learning Day and planning that and putting it all together, so I just want to thank her for all the hard work and commitment that went into that thoughtful process.
I have a couple of questions. When you, I think I'm on, right? When you, wow. When we were trying to take a nap here, Sam. When you mentioned the educate, what is that called? The experience that you did at the high school?
Learning Adventure Days?
Learning Adventure. Is there going to be a survey of the students to see what their response was as well for when we get to the curriculum committee?
I don't know if you have that in your report. I believe there is.
Okay.
So I will find out.
Because I'm assuming that that'll be a piece of it. I just wondered. And then as far as professional development, you know, I know it used to be really probably more, probably easier, I guess is the word I'll use, to have everybody kind of experience the same thing and have the same kind of, you know, have to put out the same kind of information and have one person come in. I know that this kind of professional development is a lot of additional work, but it's, you know, it's effective for people and it gets to the kinds of things that they want to know and need to know. So really, I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. It doesn't just happen. And so I really appreciate your work on this, Tawana.
Thank you so much. And you're right, it is so much more meaningful when it's tailored to what individuals need. But we always make sure that it is aligned with the district's vision, mission, and goals, so that it's very clear it's focused on what we are focused on as a district. And it is definitely a team effort. I have to give a huge thank to Sue McGuff and the other office professionals who go out of their way to help and support us. And so, you know, it takes a lot of people to kind of make it, you know, happen and to pull it off. So, but thank you for acknowledging that.
The next topic in my report is really just it's to make the board aware that our Board of Education subcommittees, I believe you have an outline in your board packet of, we have several vacancies due to the recent changes on the Board of Education. So the new board chair would work to fill those with a balanced representation of people who would be interested in serving on the various committees. So we have currently Facilities and Finance Subcommittee is a one-man team with Foster White. We have 2 vacancies in that subcommittee, and that one's going to be, an important one pretty quickly because we're looking at, as you'll see in my board budget calendar later on, that Mr. Adlerstein will share. I'd like to have the first meeting of the Finance and Facilities Subcommittee on the 17th of November, if possible, so that we can start the budget process and explaining all of that and what the outline is for that. So.
And when do you meet for those? When do those? What time?
Those are
usually?
typically in the evening.
Evening.
Yeah, 6 o'clock-ish. And we'd send out advance notice on those. Other things such as the Policy Subcommittee that Mr. Lewandowski runs. That one's still full with Mr. St. Lawrence, Mr. White, Mrs. Hardy, and Board Chair ex officio. And then Outreach Subcommittee has 1 vacancy currently, Mrs. St. Lawrence, Mr. White, and there's a vacancy, and then the Board Chair ex officio. curriculum subcommittee, and as you heard, the learning adventure days would be something that would be presented, or any new courses that we're presenting would go through the curriculum subcommittee. There's a vacancy there for the chair, and then Mrs. Martinez, Mrs. St. Lawrence, and Mrs. Hardy, and the board chair ex officio are on those. So, and we also have vacancies for the Linden, PTO, PTC, Parent Advisory Council. So for Linden and Wheeler, due to Ms. Wells and Ms. Palmieri vacating those two positions. So those would all need to be filled.
So let me just ask, you said we do or we do not have any vacancies with Foster on the Finance Subcommittee?
We do have two vacancies.
Two vacancies, okay. And
one
is
on
that the same thing with the subcommittee report? There's two?
There's one on the Outreach Subcommittee and then one on the Curriculum Subcommittee. And then two for the board, PTC, PTO representatives that would attend the meetings. Or if they couldn't attend the meetings, they would get a report usually from the principal.
Okay.
About what happened at that meeting if they were unable to attend, so.
So do we ask tonight who wants to fill these, or do we look at this next time?
If possible, tonight would be good, because we really need to move some of these subcommittees into quick action.
Okay.
Just also, something I'd like to do with the board I was looking at December 2nd as a kind of a Board of Ed, kind of onboarding for new members and also current members who have been on, just so everyone kind of understands the process of getting to consensus and what our collective and individual roles and responsibilities, and some guidelines on communication, things of that nature. So I was looking to do on December 2nd, if you could save the date for a kind of hopefully a whole board, little mini summit, if you will, where we'll have dinner and we'll plan, we'll map that all out. I've talked to Mr. Adlerstein, was a longtime board member and board chair, so he's familiar with the consultant, is really good at helping to lead that process. So I just wanted to have you save the date. It's kind of unrelated to our subcommittees, but just I guess it's related. So, I would advise, filling these subcommittees with willing participants. This is another commitment of time. The meetings can be a couple of hours on a given night. They don't meet frequently, but some meet more frequently at different times of year. Finances during the budget cycle and things like that. Sometimes policies there are a lot of new policies at one time, so you get, as some of our board members could tell you, you have several of those meetings with Mr. Lewandowski, which I'm sure are absolutely riveting, like they were when I used to run those.
Right.
So we basically have 4 vacancies on the subcommittees, and then one for Linden, one for Wheeler PTO.
Are there certain committees that the chair is usually a part of?
I believe it's up to the chair to just look for kind of a balanced perspective on these subcommittees. Although we implicitly trust Foster White in leading all financial and facilities decisions. It's a big committee because it does look at a lot of budgetary impact. It looks at also, they would get insight and information about the renovation projects as we're leading up to the referendum for the middle school project. So the facilities and finances, they're all important, but it's a very important one as far as that goes. So. I don't know if anything else as a...
I would just say, as the ex officio, the chairperson's the ex officio, sometimes a chair might go to every single meeting.
Right.
And, it depends. And then you can have a chair like myself who didn't go to a lot of the subcommittees. Sometimes I would go, but sometimes
Right.
So it depends on what's going on, and you could play it either way.
Okay. So should we maybe take a show of hands as to who would be interested in?
You can also just have people reach out to you, Lori, after they think about it a little bit and see what they want to do, and then balance
So you don't have to make a decision right now. I would just say, you know, in the next few days, so would be good. Yeah, so if you're interested in the Facilities and Finance Subcommittee, you know, you can let Mrs. Gonzalvo know. Outreach Subcommittee, we have one vacancy, and Curriculum, we have one vacancy. And then if you'd like to be the Linden or the Wheeler Street School, Linden Street School or Wheeler School, representative on their PTO, PTC. That's typically once a month meeting, and they're not really long, but it's good to have a foot in the door of the schools too, to learn about all the good things they're doing. And I know Mr. White's been the high school liaison since I was principal here many years ago, and Mrs. St. Lawrence has been at middle school, right?
In the light of the Finance and Facility Subcommittee, if anybody has any questions, and they want to, either, you know, Sam would be a great resource, or certainly feel free anytime to give me a call.
Okay.
And if you have an interest, then I'll be glad to share, you know, what we plan to do and what we have done. And, so just offer that for you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Buster. And that concludes my report. And then we'll have subcommittee reports. Sorry.
Says none.
I'm sorry, we're
You want to go back to
row numeral 8, so
the board subcommittees, and then each one of those chairs, starting with Garrett, would give a report.
Oh, yes, you're right. I'm sorry about that.
okay.
Okay, so the first subcommittee report would be Garrett.
So just for a brief student perspective session, last Friday, November 5th, PHS had a successful pilot of Learning Adventure Days, where each student was able to experience an introductory course or experience of their choice hosted by teachers at PHS. Over 30 sessions were offered, examples including mindfulness and meditation, sewing, yoga, and tarot card reading, and just to name a few. And I actually participated in blues guitar, which was a very educational experience. The hope is that this is something that could possibly be offered at the end of every quarter at PHS as a way for students to learn more about their interests in career options. Students continue to engage in social emotional learning lessons, first introduced during PHS Forum Days and now expanded to academic departments, offering discussions about how emotions impact our actions. And now for an overview of events at PHS. Looking back, we had a successful homecoming game and carnival that was on Friday, October 22nd, and the homecoming dance was on Saturday, October 23rd. The PHS greenhouse was partly constructed this past Saturday, where about 30 student volunteers helped under the direction of Mr. Serwinski and several student leaders in a 5-hour event. Looking ahead, the ASVAB test will be held at PHS on Wednesday, November 10th. Quarter 1 ended last Thursday, November 4th, and Quarter 2 started the next day, and report cards will be issued on Thursday, November 18th. This Thursday, November 11th, PHS will be observing Veterans Day with a breakfast for students and their veteran family members, a video slideshow of veterans in our Blue Devil family, the playing of taps, and the reading of a poem at 11 a.m., as well as a display of patriotic door decorating by every homeroom. The PHS Fall Play will be performed on Friday and Saturday, November 19th and 20th at 7:30 p.m. in the PHS Auditorium under the direction of Mr. Ricardo. And then lastly, Thanksgiving recess will be Thursday and Friday, November 25th and 26th, as well as the weekend with a half-day on Wednesday, the 24th, and that concludes the student perspective.
And next we have the Finance Facilities Subcommittee report. Foster?
There is no report because the committee has not met, and as you just heard, there's a tentative meeting scheduled for November 17th.
Okay. Any policy subcommittee, Becky? I mean, Crystal, sorry.
So the policy subcommittee met on Monday, October 18th. We discussed, I think it was almost 15 different policies. You all had a chance to take a look at our minutes, which we just voted for earlier in the meeting. However, we discussed that with the transition of new board members, it was the consensus of the subcommittee to bring all of the 15 policies that we discussed in that meeting for approval at our December 13th regular business meeting, so that you can have a chance to take a look at those policies before we do any voting on them. So Mr. Lewandowski, will you be sending more information to everyone?
Yeah, I'll send out a chart to everyone that highlights all the changes. It kind of tells you which policies and why there were changes.
And I think, I don't know, are we meeting again in January 10th? Anything maybe before?
It could be before. We did discuss some other policies that we may consider making some changes to, but I think January was our next meeting, and I'll confirm that at the next board meeting.
Okay. And then the curriculum is vacant, so just skip over that one. Okay. And then Crystal, the outreach?
Yeah, there's no outreach.
No outreach, okay. And then Foster, anything for the high school pack?
The last meeting of the high school pack was on September 15th, and it was reported at the last meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for November 17th, so we may have to watch the time and facilities and finance, because I have difficulty blending in two different places at the same
One
time. But you know, the pack is well organized with a good team of leaders. Unfortunately, I would like to see, I think they all would like more participation, but they are doing fundraising and do, just for your information, that they do provide historically about $300-500 scholarships to the graduates. In fact, what a lot of their fundraising is done for.
Wow.
So at the next meeting, I'll have a meeting, report of the meeting on the 17th.
Okay. And Taflon, Becky?
Sure, the Taflon PTO met on October 20th. Their next meeting is going to be November 17th. They had their Poppets fundraiser, which was a huge success. They profit was $757. They are setting up their Cheddar Up account. They ordered some field trip t-shirts. They had on the 6th, they had their Trail of Treats, and the kids definitely had a great time there. The PTO also, for Jeff Steele's retirement, purchased a $25 gift card. And we're continuing on with the fundraisers for Script Zone, Amazon Smiles, Box Tops, grocery cards, Bay State Tiles, Coca-Cola Give. Those are always up and going, so we always try to contribute there. And the next meeting will be November 17th. That's it.
Great, thank you. Linden, we don't have anyone. Sure, okay.
Hi, for Linden School, although my daughter, they did a trunk or treat that was very successful. The kids had a great time. They did, all the cars were decorated. There were some teachers that got dressed up. The kids had a lot of fun. They also did donations for the trunk or treat that, as you went through, it was nice. They did it for food pantry here in Plainville. So I imagine next time I'll probably have a better report for you guys, but they're doing a lot of good work over there.
Great, thank you. Crystal, MSP?
Yep, so the MSP PTC met on October 12th. They just wanted to send a huge thank you to all the families that ordered Spiritware. They raised about $800 from that fundraiser. And I guess the week of October 20th was America's Safe School Week. The PTC was able to provide a I think, bus drivers, crossing guards, and some other people with small gift cards, just to show appreciation, you know, to help keep our students safe. Let's see, so I know that they had to reschedule their paint night for this Wednesday night, so that's another fundraiser that they're doing, and they're also looking forward to a bingo night on November 17th for students. I believe it's for students. And their next MSPPTC meeting will be next Tuesday, November 16th.
Okay, does anyone have anything from Wheeler? Because that is a vacant spot. No. Is anyone interested in taking the Wheeler spot? Everyone can think about it. And then lastly, we have Becky, the CREC report.
I wasn't able to participate in the CREC Council. I would just say this, that I've been doing the CREC, I've been the Plainville's representative to the CREC Council for a long time. If anyone is interested in pursuing that, they do meet on Wednesdays. It's usually the third Wednesday of the month from like 11:30 to 2, somewhere in that vicinity. And there's a representative, there's supposed to be a representative there for each of the, I want to say, 26 communities that incorporates the CREC region, Capital Regional Education Council. So that's our RESC, and so, you know, there's a big learning curve there, but it's not a bad thing to participate in. So if anybody else would like to do it, I would gladly hand over those reins. So if you want to know more about it, you can always ask.
Okay. Let's see. There's no chairperson's report, so unfinished business, it says none. Any new business? We have, who handles the new business? Me? Okay, sorry. Okay. I guess we have board open forum. If anyone has anything they'd like to say.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I would just like to welcome the new members to the Board of Education. I do personally look forward to working collaboratively with you in the coming years to go. We do have a lot of issues that are facing us, and I think it'll work the best as we can if we work together and work as a team, and I think we can get the job done and be proud of what we're going to do. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Foster.
Anyone else?
I do.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say that I'm very excited to be part of the Board of Education. And honestly, I can't help but think about Charles Ingalls and the Little House books and how even way back then they had the Board of Education. And I know that's kind of, you know, the history of things, but the Board of Education is something that has been in schools since the start of, you know, our schools here in the United States. And it's such an important role. And I think it is an honor. And I'm just very, very excited and happy to be here. So thank you.
Anyone else?
So I'm just going to say welcome to our new members as well. And, you know, it is an honor. It's always an honor to represent the school district and you know, the community of Plainville and to work for the schools. It's a bit of a thankless job, but some days when you see like the kids today, that's you know, that's the best part of it. And just mention that we do have the Cabe Conference coming up. Several of us are attending this coming week, actually, Friday the 12th, right? And because of COVID, the registration for that is closed. They actually closed it several weeks ago, so you know, new folks can't get in there, unfortunately. But you know, Cabe is a great resource for us, and I think sometime in December there is also is it a new member session that they're having or something like that. So, that's definitely a resource for folks, so.
I would highly recommend that. Cabe does have an abundance of literature that I think if you need it, it's there and it's free, so use it. Because I found it very, very helpful. Along with just the input from fellow board people. Never be afraid to ask. Please, that's important.
I remember the first time I had the option to go to Cabe, we had an ice storm, and a lot of people didn't end up going, but I do believe that Maureen did go down with, I want to say, someone, and now this time it's closed, so maybe next year. Anyone else?
I would just like to say thank you all for being so welcoming. And one of my favorite things is being part of a team. As a longtime coach, I don't think there's anything more important. And being a graduate of the PHS team and alma mater, I can't think of anything more important for me to be spending my time at in this point in my life. And I'm just grateful and honored also to be here and looking forward to getting to know each and every one of you as individuals, and just excited to get to work. So thank you.
Okay. Quarterly special education cost report. Sam, any reports?
So we do that quarterly. The next special education cost report will be in January. And then the turf committee reports we do in September and May, so there's no report there. Item C until May, but tonight we have item D, request approval of, then there's a mistake in the agenda. It should say 2022 through 2023 budget calendar draft. And there's a copy of that in your packet. The budget calendar is our roadmap for our budget process. It starts with the superintendent's budget. Well, actually, it started already with our administrators. We're currently working on our budget. When you first see it, it's the superintendent's budget. Yep, it looks like, would you mind holding that up? It looks like this in your packet, just one page. And then it goes from the superintendent's budget. In January, you have 3 workshop meetings, January 20th, 25th, and 27th, where you really dive into your budget. We break it out into 79 different line items, and we dive into each one of them through the course of those budget sessions and encourage questions. We have a process to take questions and comments. Through the end of that process, at your February 14th board meeting, you vote, and it becomes the Board of Education's budget. And then the rest of the calendar is how it is supported and works its way through to referendum. So we ask you, the calendar is a work in process, but we ask you to just approve it tonight as a draft with the dates that are on there that we know about now. And they will change. A lot of them are dependent upon the town council's schedule, so that's and they're not in our control, so that's why a lot of them are still in process. And any questions on the calendar before we ask you to approve it?
Madam, therefore, I request that we approve the 21-22 budget calendar draft that is submitted in our packet tonight.
Okay, and do we need a second?
I will second that.
Okay.
I'm too fast.
Do I have to do like abstentions or
Discussion.
discussion?
You can just, yeah, if anybody.
All in
has a
favor?
question.
Do I do the all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't think anybody's opposed to it.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
And if I could just add, I assume that passed, if I could just add, the next time we pick this up is at that Finance and Facilities Committee meeting. And I don't know if it's clear to all new board members, but the whole board is invited to those committee meetings, and often the whole board does, or a large number of the board does come to that Finance and Facilities Committee meeting.
Okay.
May I ask a
Did you have something to question?
Madam Chairman, I would request that we approve the consent agenda as it was included in our packet.
All in favor?
Need a second.
Oh, second. Did you second? Rebecca?
Then did
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It passes. So that makes it pass.
I just need someone to make the favorite motion of the night.
Madam Chair,
Best to go home.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wait, motion.
Meeting adjourned. Yeah, I did one thing right.
Actually, we have to vote on that one, too.
We do?
Yep.
And if anybody abstains, you can't go home.
All in favor?
That's right.
Everyone's in favor, right?
Aye, we're in favor.
Anyone opposed? You can go through my report again.
Opposed.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, wait.
It is exciting. It wasn't bad considering all the cardboard. I don't know what we do with all the cardboard now.
You got left with the
I don't know if we recycle it or give it back to them.
Save it for slides for the winter.
Yeah.